Dude, this live stream is going to be super fun. Haven't done one in like 2 weeks, man. I'm hyped for this one. Let's get going. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's LeeLos, and today we're talking about how powerful is Godspeed. Stay steady in pursuit of your dreams and goals. You're born to win, you're made for greatness, and I definitely believe in you guys. Keep up the great work each and every day. Hey, what is up, everybody? It's LeeLos. So, yeah, I'm super hyped for this stream. It's going to be the first Hunter x Hunter power scaling stream on the channel. I'm hyped for it. Give me 1 second. I'm just checking to make sure that the stream is actually up and running and that I'm not just talking to myself here. Let's peep it. And cool, we are indeed live. Hello, everybody. It's LeeLos. I hope you guys are hyped for some Hunter x Hunter power scaling. Okie dokie. And hey, what's up, bro? TMT SPS. What's up, bro? Welcome to the stream. All right, so let's get going. So today, guys, we're going to analyze and power scale numerous battles in Hunter x Hunter. And we're going to be doing this to gain an understanding of how power scaling and Nen combat works in the series. Then we're going to power scale Killua against the top tiers to see how Killua would do battling them. Then we're going to open up the chat for discussion with all of you guys. Okay? And if this is your first time in the stream, in one of these LeeLos streams, the format for them is the way we do it. I'll be going through my points. We're doing this live, so after I finish a main or major point, then I look at the comments, reply to you guys, and then go on to the next point. But if I am in the middle of a point, and you're leaving a comment and I don't see it, don't feel upset, because at the end of the stream, I go through all the comments, and then that's where we have the open discussion with all you guys, okay? So, and TMTSP says you just finished Hunter x Hunter 1 week ago. Perfect. This is perfect timing, bro. So this will show you a lot about how power scaling in Hunter x Hunter is like. So let's get into it, okay? So, during the events of the Chimera Ant arc, Killua uses his new Hatsu ability, Godspeed, and absolutely lays the pause upon Youpi. He doesn't actually do any real damage, but he's so fast that Youpi could not react to his attacks. Due to this display of overwhelming speed, many people believe that Killua is the fastest human character in Hunter x Hunter, meaning now with Godspeed, Killua would be able to speed blitz and kill many characters that were low diff and mid difficulty, destroying him before he developed Godspeed. Characters like Morel or Illumi or Hisoka, for example. So today, we're going to analyze all the details of Youpi's battles and the finer details of Nen combat to see if this can be proven true or false, and to finally decide once and for all how Killua would do against the high and top tier characters of Hunter x Hunter. So first off, Youpi is a lot more powerful than most people realize. Analyzing how powerful Youpi actually is will help with understanding the impact that complex Nen and significant Nen battle experience plays in Hunter x Hunter combat. Okay, so when analyzing Youpi's total aura, Knuckles states that Youpi has 10 times as much aura as his boss, Morel. Morel has a total of 70,000 aura, so that puts Youpi's total aura at 700,000. After completing his training with Bisky for a second time, Gon's total aura is read by Knuckle and stated to be 21,500. Total aura is something that, for human characters, is developed through training your Nen volume specifically, and it takes time to increase your total aura. This is one of the reasons why when Gon does Ren or charges up his aura throughout the series, many pros are shocked at his total aura, because Gon has the aura of a full-grown man who's become a mid-level pro hunter, but Gon is still just a freaking child. Morel is a veteran hunter and has 3 times as much total aura as Gon. Killua is narratively implied to have slightly less aura than Gon has, but for this example, let's just say Killua has as much aura as Gon, okay? And because it makes it a little nicer on Killua. It's me being a little nicer to Killua here, but it makes the point make more sense if I just say that they have the same aura, okay? So even if Killua had the exact same amount of aura as Gon, then that would mean Youpi did not just have 10 times as much aura as Killua. It would mean that Youpi had 32 times as much aura as Killua. So the battle of Killua versus Youpi, this one right here where Killua's speed blitzing and smacking him around, that's a battle where a character 32 times weaker speed blitzed and beat up a character 32 times stronger, just because he had a creative and complex Nen ability. This is an underlying theme of the entire battle of Youpi versus the invasion hunters. It's that Nen combat is complex, and having a stat advantage does not automatically mean that you're going to win. Experience with Nen and complex Nen abilities can defeat characters that are much more powerful than themselves. Okay. And, okay, before I get into this next point here, someone just left a comment. Let me see. It is Pro Falco for real. Hi, I just wanted to stop by and give a like. I gotta go to sleep now. Hey, what's up, man? Hey, what's up, Pro Falco? Thank you for giving a like and stopping by. The good news is this live stream will be up for you to see later, so you can get a good night's sleep and, you know, watch it later. So, but thanks for stopping by. Okay, so let's continue. So the battles versus Youpi, they show that characters using complex Nen abilities and Nen battle experience can defeat characters up to 30 times as powerful as themselves. In the battle against Youpi, Knuckle would have actually won if he had sacrificed Morel. Youpi was about to run out of Nen, and then then Knuckle would have killed Youpi very easily, because Youpi would have been unable to use aura to protect himself. Another thing to consider is that Morel started the invasion at 35% of his total power. When Morel faces Youpi, Morel does not even have his pipe weapon with him anymore. It was stolen by Poof right here. And he can only make 89 clones. Full power Morel can make 256 clones, and he can use Smoky Jail. So, analyzing Knuckle, Morel, and Melioron against Youpi gives a great example of how Nen experience can defeat stat advantages. A full power Morel and Knuckle working together with Melioron would have been able to kill Youpi, and possibly even then kill Poof afterwards as well. This is because Smoky Jail is extremely powerful. Smoky Jail is a cloud of smoke so strong that Youpi could not break it with a few of his attacks, and it's stated that in total it would take Youpi 11 minutes and 43 seconds to run out of Nen after being hit by Knuckles' Hatsu APR, and he would run out of Nen even faster by doing attacks. So, a combo of Morel, Knuckle, and Melioron together, despite being many times weaker than Youpi, with a strategy of just hitting Yuppie with APR, hiding themselves in 200 plus clones, and then slowing the enemy down with smoke screens and trapping them in Smoky Jail, this would have been a very effective method for defeating Yuppie and Poof. Morel himself is such a skilled Nen user that Poof states Morel was capable of defeating him on his own. Someone with significantly less Nen than Poof. Poof was like, dude, if you had just stuck it out, you were going to win that fight. Like, you had pretty much won the Nen battle against Poof, just from being smart and experienced. And a side note I'll throw in real quick here is that Smoky Jail, part of it being so strong is that it might actually be conditional Nen, where it becomes stronger when Morel traps himself inside of it too. And if that's the case, they would have to do the same strategy without Smoky Jail, but they would definitely kill at least Yuppie with that tactic, because with an inferior tactic of just hit and run and go invisible without Morel's help, Knuckle and Melioron almost beat Yuppie on their freaking own. Okay. So here's the thing though. It should be stated that there's a limit to overpowering stat advantages with Nen skill and battle experience. Basically, once your opponent's stats outclass you to a point where it's basically a heaven and earth difference between you and your opponent, no amount of Nen skill or experience can save you. And this is proven in Gon versus Pito. Do you guys say Pito or Pitu? I say Pito, so we'll say that. Despite Pito knowing N, an advanced Nen technique that Gon has not yet learned, she still gets destroyed by Gon's overwhelming aura. The gap in power between Pitu and Gon it's genuinely gigantic, just much bigger than most people realize. Okay, so Pito states that Gon is as powerful as Meruem, while Gon is just standing there menacingly. Earlier in the Chimera Ant arc, Gon's rock ability is stated to be dozens of times more powerful than his normal punch. That was Gon while he was completely normal and a child. Dozens means at least 24, but less than 100. And I like to use dozens to represent 24 to 36 because you're not like overshooting it too much. It's a pretty reasonable way to use dozens. So that would mean under normal circumstances, the first rock that Gon does was 24 to 36 times as powerful as freaking Meruem. And we saw Shoot and Knuckle versus Yuppie, a casual punch from Yuppie, who's 10 to 30 times more powerful than them, would one-shot kill them. Like this punch right here will one-shot kill him, right? So now, this is under normal circumstances, but there's a few things to consider that make Gon's rock potentially even more powerful in his adult form. Okay, so before I continue on, let me see what these comments were in the chat. You said, is there spoilers for chapter 340 to 400? You say Pito, SpongeBob reference. So in this stream, will there be spoilers? Let me think. At the very, very end, I mention a character from the Dark Continent. So when I get to that point, I'll let you know. But that's the only spoiler. Okay. And it's just a character's name, basically. So let's continue. Okay. So start of, and just to make it clear, TMT, when I get to that part where I'm going to mention the Dark Continent character, I will let you know, so that way you could leave for a little bit and come back, because it's like a 10-second spoiler. So okay. So anyways, let's continue. So start of Chimera Ant arc, Knuckle explains the difference between Nen capacity and Nen output. Your Nen capacity is the total amount of aura you have in your entire body. Your Nen output, on the other hand, is how much Nen you can output at one time in one Nen ability. The stronger your Nen output, the more your total Nen energy you can use for attacks, and the stronger your attacks become. So, for me to simplify it and help you guys understand a bit more, Gon as a child has a total Nen capacity of 21,500 aura. That means Gon's rock attack at full power was only using 10% of Gon's total energy. And total Nen capacity and Nen output are usually only increased through training, but Gon, during his battle with Pitou, used conditional Nen to increase his Nen capacity exponentially. If Gon's Nen output increased exponentially as well, then that would mean the multiplier for rock becomes even bigger. So, if Gon's Nen output as a child is 10%, right? And let me explain it for you guys real simply. He has 21,000 total aura, and in Gon's Nen attacks, he can only use 2,000 of it at a time. Like, no matter how hard he tries, he can't go beyond 2,000 because he hasn't increased his Nen output beyond 10%. 10% is his max Nen output, so he can only put 2,000 aura into his attacks. No matter how much more he wants to put in there, only 2,000, he can only use 2,000 of it. Okay, that's a Nen output of 10% for Gon. Now, if Gon's Nen output doubled or tripled to 20 or 30% when he goes into adult Gon form, then the multiplier for rock would double or triple as well. Meaning, instead of adult Gon's rock being what was stated before as a 24 to 36 times multiplier, instead of that, it would be a 48 to a 108 times multiplier, just by doubling or tripling Gon's Nen output. Okay, so with all that being said, the first rock attack that hits Pitou is anywhere in the range from 24 to 108 times as powerful as freaking Meruem. That explains why the first rock Gon hits Pitou with pretty much one-shot kills her. Right? This was Pitou after just one rock attack. If Gon left her alone, Pitou most likely would have died, like, just from that. But Gon was so crazy, he decides to turn Pitou's face into non-existence. And basically, the gap between Pitou and Gon was about the same, but maybe even bigger than the gap between Youpi and Shoot. That's what's so crazy about Adult Gon. And Adult Gon wasn't using complex Nen, he just overwhelmed Pitou with pure power. And this picture here side by side lets you know that the gap in power between Gon and Pitou was around the same as the gap in power between Youpi and like Knuckle and Shoot, because here's just one punch from Youpi and Knuckle's like, well, that's gonna one-shot kill him. And then right here with Pitou, one hit from Gon is pretty much one-shot kills her as well. Okay, so now that that's all out of the way, let's talk a bit more about Killua. Okay, so since Killua speed blitzed Youpi, a character with 10 times as much aura as Morel, the question is this: would Killua be able to speed blitz the rest of the verse as well? And here's the answer. The answer is most of the hunters in the Hunter x Hunter verse are getting speed blitzed by Godspeed, most of them. But this is the most important part, so listen very closely here. There's a large list of characters in Hunter x Hunter that could low diff and mid diff kill Killua if Killua does not use Godspeed. characters like Hisoka, Illumi, Morel, right? And nearly all of the characters on that list would still kill Killua even after Killua learned Godspeed. And there's numerous pieces of evidence all throughout the series proving this to be true. Okay. So there's a very long list of characters that can kill Godspeed Killua. To get started off with that list, any triple star enhancer would destroy Godspeed Killua. Any triple star enhancer. And for those of you who don't know, hunters are ranked by stars. So if you're a rookie hunter and you haven't done any massive achievements, you do not even have 1 star. Then after doing some achievements, you get 1 star. Then after, well, it's like a recognizable achievement, you get 1 star. Then after doing a recognizable achievement and then mentoring students to have recognizable achievements, you get 2 stars. And then 3 stars is even more advanced than that. Okay, and to put it in perspective, Morel was just a single star hunter. Okay, so here's what you need to understand. Aura in Hunter x Hunter, and this is a concept that makes power scaling in Hunter x Hunter make so much sense. It's really crucial to understand this one piece that I'm about to say right here. So listen really closely. Okay, Aura in Hunter x Hunter pretty much works like weight classes in real UFC fights. I'll say that again. Aura pretty much works like weight classes in real UFC fights. So if your aura is much bigger than your opponent's, then it just does not matter how fast they are or how cool their attacks look. You just literally cannot even feel the attack. It's kind of like, imagine if you're a Mighty Mouse, if you're a UFC fan, Mighty Mouse is a way better fighter than Francis Ngannou, who's the heavyweight world champion. But Mighty Mouse, he's in the lowest weight class. It doesn't matter. He fights Francis, he's gonna die. Okay, because it's like the weight is so much different. It's similar to that in Hunter x Hunter with aura. If you have someone with way less aura than someone who has way more aura, they can't even hurt them. Okay, so let's keep going. So this concept of if you have way more aura than your opponent, you can't even be hurt by them. This was proven in Meruem versus Netero. Netero hits Meruem with his Hatsu thousands of times. And to Meruem, it felt like a child throwing a tantrum. Thousands of attacks, and he still took close to 0 damage. The exact difference in total aura between Netero and Meruem is never stated, but it's implied that the gap between Netero and Meruem's aura is smaller than the gap between Shoot, Knuckle, and Yuppie's aura, for example, because Netero's attacks actually produce enough force to send Meruem flying and actually damages Meruem with 0 hand, but Yuppie never gets sent flying by Knuckle or Shoot's attacks, and he really doesn't even feel any pain the entire time he's fighting. So I ran a poll on my channel. How much total aura does Meruem have compared to Netero? And most of the voters believe that he has 3 times as much as Netero. Which, if that was true, then that would mean that Netero has slightly less aura than a royal guard. And that lines up pretty well with Netero stating that Pito might have been stronger than himself before he started training again to prepare for Meruem. So all that being said, having 3 to 5 times as much aura as Netero made Meruem's defense so strong that he took thousands of attacks from Netero and felt almost 0 damage. Just a 3 to 5 times multiplier. Morel, freaking Morel, a single star hunter, has 3 to 5 times as much Nen as Killua. Are you starting to see what I'm saying here? Are you guys understanding that? Because, and likely it's even greater than 3 to 5 times as much as Killua, because Those numbers are based on Gon's total aura of 21,000. If Killua has half as much total aura as Gon, for example, then Morel would have 7 times as much aura as Killua. Meaning if Killua went Godspeed and hit Morel with an onslaught the same way he did to Youpi, Morel would take about as much damage as Meruem was taking from Netero's Buddha Hand Hatsu attack. Meaning Morel could just stand there, put up his Nen defense, wait for Killua to finish his entire combo, dust off his shirt, and then just destroy Killua with a few attacks. That is the power of Nen in Nen battles. And Morel, like I said, he's just a single star hunter, and he's a manipulator type with his Hatsu. Triple star level enhancer hunters is just an entirely different level of domination. Entirely different. Okay? So we are, let me see, I think we're about 70% finished with this, but let's keep going, okay? So to understand how powerful triple star enhancers really are, first you have to understand the difference between basic and advanced Nen combat. Basic Nen combat is Nen combat just using the basics, so Ten, Ren, Gyo, and Hatsu. Before training with Bisky, all Gon and Killua would do was basic Nen combat. It was basic Nen combat. So like all of Heaven's Arena, everything Gon and Killua do there is just basic Nen combat. Advanced Nen combat, that's what happens after Gon and Killua start training with Bisky. These are techniques like Ken and Ryu, and a common theme with advanced Nen is it's usually just using 2 or more basic Nen techniques at the same time to gain more power. For example, 10 is the basic level of Nen defense. But if you combine 10 and Ren together, you get Ken. Ken is advanced Nen defense, and some translations have Ken listed as 10 times more powerful than normal 10 defense. For enhancers, the defense boost that they gain from Ken is even greater than that, because enhancers get the biggest strength and defense boosts from Nen out of all the other Nen categories. And your Ken gets even stronger as you train your Nen output. So some enhancers Ken could be potentially 20 or 30 times more powerful than their normal 10 defense. The reason I point this out is because everything we see Youpi do in terms of defense feats, there's a very real possibility that Youpi did all of that with just basic 10. And there's a possibility that Youpi never once used advanced Nen defense Ken because he just genuinely did not need it against the hunters. The power gap was so big. Now, let's talk about Youpi's Nen, okay? And talk about if he's a Nen master or not. Alright? So, Youpi is the only royal guard that was not made from humans. He was actually made from magical beasts instead, and as a result, Youpi's canonically the dumbest of the royal guards and has less of a sense of individuality. Each royal guard actually has their own specialty that makes them unique from the other guards. Pito is shown to be the most skilled at Nen combat, shown by her developing En instinctively before she even developed a Hatsu, and it's stated by Poof that Pito's En is more powerful than his own. Poof is the most powerful at mental manipulation, and Youpi is the most powerful at physical attacks due to his magical beast abilities. And Youpi is implied to be the least knowledgeable about Nen combat because he's the only royal guard who's constantly tricked by the complexity of Nen combat. Furthermore, there's some advanced Nen techniques Yuppie genuinely might not know. For example, Een is an advanced form of Zetsu that makes Nen invisible. There's a moment in his fight where Knuckle goes invisible, so his Nen APR thing goes invisible too, and Yuppie is just completely baffled by that. He never suspects that it might be Een causing the Nen to disappear and go invisible, and he never tries to look with Gyo, which for a Nen master would be one of the first things they suspect. That was literally like taught to Gon and Killua in the basics, like if something goes invisible, use Gyo, but Yuppie never does that. Also, we never see Yuppie use N, so it's uncertain if he knows N or not. I personally believe he knows N, but it's just a fact that he never uses it. And furthermore, the transformations that Yuppie does, they might just be because of his magical beast abilities rather than Hatsu. It's debatable whether or not his transformations are like a weird kind of Hatsu or his magical beast abilities. So basically, Yuppie is a magical beast and a rookie, like a literal rookie at Nen combat, but he has so much aura that it like barely matters. Like he has so much aura that he can crush really powerful people with just the basics of Nen alone. This is a side note, but Yuppie's likely to have the most potential out of all the Royal Guards because he evolved massively in his very first battle, especially considering there's a possibility that he did everything with just basic Nen and he's a literal moron that might not even have a Hatsu yet. He could literally make himself dozens of times more powerful by using advanced Nen. He's a monster. And I see we got another comment here. Let me peep this comment. From Ashura, I don't think that works for manipulators. In my opinion, that works for enhancement, emission, and transmutation. Maybe specialists because they're weird. Wait, which part are you referring to? Do you mean... Wait, what part doesn't work for manipulators? I'm sorry, I missed your comment when you posted it. Maybe you're referring to the difference in aura? I'm not sure. Please clarify, because I'd like to talk about your point. Yeah, you said, I don't think that works for manipulators. I'm not sure what you were referring to. Was it? Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to have you explain, please, because I'd like to discuss that with you if you'd like. Okay, so let's continue. So yeah, that all being said, right, a triple star enhancer would be able to defend an entire Godspeed onslaught for certain. For certain. With Ken and with decades of training Nen output, it's possible that some of the top tier triple star enhancers have a crazy Nen output of 25% or higher. Right? Especially with conditional Nen and the natural stat boost to defense that Enhancer Aura gets by default, it's very possible that with Ken and a high Nen output, that some triple star enhancers could have a Ken defense relative to the normal 10 defense displayed by Yuppie. Some could even surpass Yuppie in defense, especially with conditional Nen, similar to how Killua surpassed Yuppie in speed with his Hatsu. Okay, and before I continue, Ashura, you said something. You said, yes, the difference in aura. So, okay, so Ashura, you're saying you don't think the difference in aura applies to manipulators because they're the closest to enhancement. If I'm understanding you correctly, are you saying that for manipulators, they can get a big stat boost in defense and strength from their aura the same way enhancers can? Is that what you're trying to say? Let me know if that's what you're trying to say. I'm going to continue onwards. Okay. So a lot of powerful hunters tend to have at least one conditional ability that's very powerful and they use it as a trump card. Right? So conditional Nen is basically the Hunter x Hunter equivalent of fusion from Dragon Ball Z because it's like one of the biggest power-ups you can get. It's stated that if Nen adds to your power, then conditional Nen is a multiplier for your power. So, like, examples of powerful characters having conditional Nen, Netero, he had Zero Hand, which in exchange for all his aura and leaving himself a shriveled up, have literally been thousands of times stronger. I mean, this is such a this is something I just thought of, but don't put too much weight into it. But it was like Netero slapped Meruem thousands of times and did no damage, but one Zero Hand actually damaged him. So that's why I was thinking it might have been thousands of times stronger, but that's kind of not exactly accurate. But yeah, that was something I thought about off the top of my head right now. Let me just continue, okay? What you knew is that Zero Hand was many times more powerful than his normal Hatsu. Kurapika, his conditional Nen is Judgment Chain, which is a one-shot instant kill ability, but it can only be used on Phantom Troop, and if he tries using it on anyone else, he instantly dies. So it's very likely that triple star enhancers would have a conditional Nen that makes their, at least one of the triple star enhancers would have a conditional Nen that makes their defense greater than what normal Ken would raise it to. That's a pretty likely scenario, right? And these are characters that there's just absolutely nothing Killua could do to hurt them. He could hit them with Godspeed all day and they would just take literally 0 damage. Okay, and Ashura just said, I think they're too far from enhancement. Too far from enhancement for what? For, yeah, I think you're trying to say they're too far from enhancement to boost themselves. I'm sorry, Ashura. I'm sure you're making a good point. I'm just not fully grasping it. What I think you're saying is like, maybe for manipulators, it doesn't matter how much aura their opponent has. Wait, you just said? Okay, Ashura just said, so manipulators, they won't get the same degree of defense. Yes, that's true. I mean, well, that's because, so when you look at the different Nen categories, every Nen category has something that makes it special. So, like, transmuters can transmute their aura into different things. Enhancers can boost their strength and defense the highest out of any category. Conjurers can like create things that exist in the real world, but create them out of Nen. So each of the different Nen category types has its own special thing that makes it unique. For enhancers, their special thing is just you get more power from your Nen and you get more defense from your Nen. So it's like if an enhancer is using Ken, well, let's say a manipulator uses Ken and they get like a 5 times multiplier. A enhancer with the same amount of aura could use Ken and get a 10 times multiplier. It's some amount bigger than all the other categories. We don't know the exact amount, but it's some amount bigger. Okay, so yes, that is true. Manipulator, like no other Nen category is going to get the same power boosts from their Nen or defense boost from their Nen as enhancers. None of them will, but they can still increase their defense with advanced Nen techniques. Like Ken is designed to increase your defense regardless of your type, but enhancers would get the biggest boost. Okay. So, so yeah, I will continue on now. All right. So here's a big point to keep in mind. Just because Killua speed blitzed Yuppie, a magical beast Nen rookie with incredible amounts of aura, that does not mean Killua would speed blitz triple star Nen masters. There are countless ways. This is this part's really important to Hunter x Hunter power scaling. There are countless ways to handle opponents that over-rely on speed. Okay? This was stated by Morel right here when he's fighting Cheetu. Cheetu was speed blitzing him, but Morel found a way to low diff defeat Cheetu without taking any damage by using Nen experience and complex Nen. Knuckle also states that you can beat characters faster than you by using wits and Nen battle experience. That's what's stated right here. And Knuckle then goes on to say that he's confident he can beat Cheetu in a 1v1, even though Cheetu is so fast that he was speed blitzing Knuckle. Cheetu states that Knuckle was too slow to even react to Cheetu's attacks. That's stated right here. But Knuckle is still completely confident he can kill Cheetu anyway, despite the stat difference. Okay. And this is, we are about almost finished up here. So let's wrap up the main points, all right? So there's about like 3 more main points. So during the election arc, we get to see numerous powerful characters react to Godspeed. And seeing their reactions gives us a lot of insight to how Godspeed would fare against powerful Nen masters. So Tsubone, one of Killua's butlers, this lady right here, Tsubone, even after knowing about Godspeed, she says that she could knock Killua out instantly. And for people who are confused, this was stated right here at the beginning of the election arc. And then after Tsubone sees Killua go Godspeed, in the manga she states that she already knew Killua had this ability. So this is what I was talking about there. Okay. So yeah, even after knowing about Godspeed, she says that she could knock Killua out instantly. And then furthermore, the moment Tsubone sees Godspeed is too fast for her to catch on foot, she instantly finds a Nen-based solution to the problem and then catches up to Godspeed instantly. Then you have characters like Illumi, Silva, and Zeno who scale far above Tsubone because Tsubone is literally just one of their butlers. Illumi and Hisoka are both observing Killua from a cliffside during this arc. Killua runs away using Godspeed, and both Hisoka and Illumi afterwards do not change their opinion of Killua in the slightest. They're both confident that they can kill Killua, and the way they talk about it, they view killing Killua as something that's not that big of a deal. Like, in their mind, Killua's not that big of a deal, even with Godspeed. They see him do it and they're like, well, I don't care, I will fold him. Like, it's like this is Hisoka's reaction to Killua after seeing Godspeed. He's like, well, should I kill Killua first? Or should I kill Alluka first? Or should I kill Alluka, then I kill Killua, then I kill Illumi? Like, that's how Hisoka was thinking to Godspeed. He wasn't like, oh man, there's nothing I can do to that speed. He's just sitting there thinking about killing Killua like it's a video game to play. Like, he doesn't care. Okay. Now, and finally, to push that point even more, Knuckle has a scene when he's analyzing Youpi's power where he states that battling and defeating opponents with remarkable power, that's something that happens all the time. It's not even rare. Basically, Nen masters kill people with better stats than them all the time. Like, it's literally just like common. And that is the essence of Nen combat that Morel explains to Killua right here. So the essence of Nen combat is it's that if you base the winner of a fight on just aura amount or just stat advantages, then you're likely to be wrong. Power scaling in Hunter x Hunter is more based on a combination of aura amount, Nen battle experience, and overall skill with Nen. Whereas in other shonen series like Dragon Ball or One Piece, power scaling is just about 100% based on stats. That's what makes Hunter x Hunter battles interesting. Even characters like Knuckle have ways that they can kill Killua pretty easily. So right now I'll explain to you, here's a scenario if Knuckle fought Killua where he could kill Killua pretty easy. Here's a scenario where that could happen. Okay, so it took 2 minutes for Gon to run out of aura fighting Knuckle. 2 freaking minutes. All Knuckle has to do to beat Killua is let Killua go Godspeed. Knuckle uses Ken at full power and survives the Godspeed onslaught. Then land one attack with APR, wait 2 minutes, Killua runs out of aura and Knuckle wins. And Knuckle was stated by Gon to be equally as strong physically as Kite, so it's possible that Knuckle could just survive a Godspeed onslaught and then outbox and kill Killua without even using his Hatsu. Seeing how characters like Tsubone and Knuckle, freaking Knuckle, well, and I'm not being disrespectful. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Knuckle. He's actually like a powerful hunter, but he's not like in the same caliber as even Morel. And then people like Hisoka are above that. So, I mean, like, seeing how, like, Knuckle is closer to Tsubone, but probably still a little above her, but that's debatable. But yeah, so seeing how characters like Tsubone and Knuckle have win conditions against freaking Killua, Nen Masters far stronger than them, like Hisoka, Illumi, and Chrollo, would also have win conditions against Killua. Most likely, numerous win conditions against Killua. Broken Hatsus, man. So something else worth keeping in mind is that many high tier hunters have Hatsus that can one-shot kill people. Like Illumi's Nen Needle instantly turns you into a zombie and kills you if he hits you in the head with it, depending on which needle he uses. And Killua himself states that if he revealed his secret of Aluka's powers, that Illumi would just put another Nen Needle in his head. That's pretty much confirming Illumi can kill Killua. Because he said it right here, you'll gladly put a needle in my head. He's not saying he can resist it or anything. He's like, dude, if I tell you the rules, you're going to put a needle in my head again and manipulate me. Okay? And if he can put a needle in Killua's head and manipulate him, he could put a needle in Killua's head and kill him. So that's like more proof that even with Godspeed, Illumi would be above Killua, just based off of narrative and statements. And also just analyzing how he interacts with Illumi the entire election arc, he never once thinks, yo, let me hide Aluka while I knock out Illumi and then we're good. Then I don't have to run away. He never says that. The whole idea is run. The moment Illumi shows up, run. The moment these guys show up, run. He's not thinking, let me go Godspeed and low diff my family. He's thinking, they will cook me. Let me run away. But also the reason why that's a little controversial is because he had to protect Aluka at the same time. So that's a debatable thing, but that's something I wanted to just briefly mention. Okay. Yeah, and I went on a little bit of a tangent there. So, anyways, even with Illumi's one-shot Hatsu that I was saying, he could put a needle in Killua's head and kill him. Even with one-shot Hatsu that Illumi has, it's narratively implied that Illumi is still weaker than his father because his father is the head of the family. So having a broken Hatsu, even one that lets you one-shot kill people like Illumi has, that does not automatically make you the strongest character in the story. The reality is, many of the high tier and top tier characters have broken Hatsus that can one-shot kill people. Alright, now this is the final piece of today's video. Us talking about how strong is Godspeed Killua actually, okay? So let's see, where does Godspeed Killua stack up in the verse? So nearly all of the characters that could low diff or mid diff Killua without Godspeed can still kill Killua mid diff to high difficulty while he has Godspeed. Killua still does not even know N and has never displayed the ability to use Een and has not developed real conditional Nen yet. And despite being a genius, he's still new to he is still new to Nen combat. Killua gets cooked by Nen Masters, especially Nen Masters that are also geniuses the same way Killua is. A good example would be Jing. Because the difference in aura is so much, it's just too much. Killua would not be able to hurt the most powerful of double star hunters with their defense up, and likely couldn't hurt any triple star hunter with their defense up. Killua is at the very bottom of high tier characters. He's about even with weak double star hunters. So to put it in perspective, oh wait a minute, TMTPS, if you're still here, bro, this is the part where I'm going to mention a Dark Continent character. So yeah, I'm about to say his name in 5. Oh yeah, oh hold on a second. So if you don't want to be spoiled on this character's name, you could leave for like 10 seconds and come back. But I'm about to say it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. The character's name is Don Freaksis, Gon's ancestor, who's 300 years old plus, and he conquered the entire west of the Dark Continent. Him and Post Rose Meruem are at the very pinnacle. Oh, and the unknown beasts of the Dark Continent are at the absolute pinnacle of the verse. The reason why he's all the way up here is because he conquered the entire west of the Dark Continent on his own, and in the Dark Continent, the Chimera ants are the weakest creatures there. To put it into perspective, even after Meruem kills Netero, even after that, the Hunter Association does not change the Chimera ants danger ranking. They have it listed as B to A rank, and it's implied that the squadron leaders and below, those are all the B rank. And then the Royal Guard and Meruem are the A rank. And it shows that to kill Netero, that's an A rank level danger. And the Dark Continent is filled with above A rank level creatures. Like characters like the squadron leaders and the Chimera ants would get eaten in the Dark Continent. Like if Meruem went to the Dark Continent and just messed around with the wrong guy, he's getting eaten. Like Meruem would get eaten like prey. That's how strong the Dark Continent is. And Don Freaksis has been there for 300 years by himself, conquered the entire west of it, and wrote books that like the rest of the human world learns about the Dark Continent from. Okay. And yeah, and Post Rose Meruem, I put him up here too, even though based on narrative, Don Freaksis might even be able to one-shot Post Rose Meruem, which is the crazy thing. And then when you come to the below them is the top tiers. This would consist of the top 5 Nen users, Meruem, the Royal Guard, Netero would be in this as well. Below them is the high tiers. The bottom of the high tier would be Godspeed Killua. The top of the high tier would be characters like Hisoka, Illumi, and the Zodiacs. And the middle of the high tier would be characters like Morel and Bisky. They're powerful enough that they've trained 1-star hunters. And then below these guys would be the medium high tier, and that's where characters like Knuckle and Shoot would be here, and so would Gon Freaksis. And you could actually put Knuckle maybe at the bottom of high tier, like right by Killua's side up here, just because Knuckles' Hatsu ability is extremely broken. But yeah, guys, that was everything I wanted to say in today's video. Now this is the time where I open up the chat to discussion or debate. If there's anything that you disagreed with, let me know in the comments, and I will be replying to them for the next few minutes here. Okay, so Jack Phillips says, a father presumably wins due to knowing the son's moves. Don Freaksis has to have insane durability to disease, poison, and many other techniques assassins use, so it makes him super strong in PvP. I agree to that as well. I'm about to spoil things from the Dark Continent too in this answer, so if you guys haven't read the Dark Continent and don't want to be spoiled on it, then I'd recommend leaving the video now. TMT SP13 says good night. Good night, bro. Thanks for tuning into the stream. But yeah, in the Dark Continent has resources that pretty much make you superhuman. Like in the Dark Continent, they have longevity rice, which lets you live like possibly forever, and that's why Don Freaksis is 300. They also have things that cure any disease out there. So that's how they assume Dawn Freaksus has lived so long, just by eating rice, like the longevity rice, and like eating the stuff that cures any disease. And is anyone else saying anything? Any other points you guys want to discuss? Anyone think that the stuff I said was wrong? Anyone want to challenge any of the points? If not, then we will wrap this stream up. Something cool about this stream, dude, is like this one. I wanted to do this one first because it's pretty much like the foundation of how power scaling in Hunter x Hunter works. There's a lot more power scaling in Hunter x Hunter that I want to do. So I wanted to do this one first. It's kind of like the chapter 1 of LeeLos adventure, Hunter x Hunter power scaling. So yeah, that was everything I'll cover with that one. Tonight, guys, I'm planning on doing an Elden Ring live stream, first one on the channel, and it will be pretty fun. So gonna get some water and get ready for this live stream. The goal of this Elden Ring live stream was I wanted to beat Margit in one stream, start a new account and beat Margit. It's already getting kind of late. Hey, screw it, I think I'll just do it anyway. Yeah, why not? Ashura says, I don't think the Dark Continent is that strong. It is, my friend. I mean, the manga says that it is. So. Anyways, yeah, guys, that was everything I wanted to cover. I'm going to get some water, and then we can start up the Elden Ring live stream. So I'll see you guys on the late night live stream. And if there's anything else you guys want to talk about during it's going to be the first gaming live stream on the channel, so it'll be a fun little experiment here. It's me like getting ready for the Elden Ring DLC, and I'm thinking that we're going to do a full playthrough of Elden Ring. So I'm going to make a new account on Elden Ring, start it up, and we can have a live stream series of us just going through Elden Ring, beating all of Elden Ring before the DLC comes out in June. So it's going to be pretty cool. Oh, DrewTube, what's up, bro? How's it going? How are you doing? This stream just finished up. We're about to take a quick break, and then we're going to start up the Elden Ring live stream, bro. So if you want to chat more, then feel free to hop in there. We're going to be streaming for probably like 3 hours playing Elden Ring. It's going to be a fun time, just talking about manga and whatnot. It's going to be good. But all right, guys. I will see you on the next live stream in like 30 minutes.